bring things back. Jason 5 was one of the people. There were several that asked about bringing the marketplace back, and both just for offering some of the items that are exclusively available in the marketplace that I'm sure people would like to purchase. Oh, did you lose me?
Shit, it says I'm still streaming. What happened?
I don't know. We're back. All right, good.
That was weird. Yeah,
I'll have to.
I don't have any drop frames or anything. I don't know what happened.
All right. Well, we will. Yeah. So the lag has spread. That's right. We I wanted mainly I acknowledge Jason 5 for asking the question about the marketplace. How long? There's some questions here about how long FE would remain up, and that is, look, this is something we're committed to. I personally love the game. There's a lot of elements in the game design that I really like. So we're just going to keep it online. It's kind of I would call it one of my pet projects. So I enjoy it, and I want to see it stay online. So we've put a lot of work into it, um, and I want to keep it going. So it's going to stay up for a while. One question, it's probably worth discussing, and this came up a couple times in the in various forums, was Fallen Earth 2 versus Fallen Earth, and I'm not I'm on the fence on this. I'm inclined to stick with just Fallen Earth. Um, we've done that's probably me. We've done a lot of work to kind of overhaul Fallen Earth, but I'd rather go through and clean up the quests and clean up the storyline and kind of make sure Fallen Earth um, uh, plays well. So I think right now we're sticking with Fallen Earth. We're not concentrating on a Fallen Earth 2 yet. Yeah, the unfortunately, I mentioned this in the stream. I'm in Europe. I think there are some telecom issues right now over here that we're just plowing through for the stream. So hopefully, I'm coming through okay. Um, I do appreciate all the people that ask, what can players do to help. Um, I think at some point we will put the marketplace back online. Um, uh, and then the biggest way you can help is buy some stuff, have fun in the game. I don't want to do that until the public test server is online. All right, I'm following chat there. Okay, Orcroft. Knowing that you're a player, what did you think of the game itself? Did you try the previous and classic version of the game to compare? Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this in the past. Um, it's and I want to come back to, there's someone asking about the vegetation. I'll come back to that. It's been really eye opening to see um, both ends, because you're a little bit, but also seeing the game through the lens of the back end and realizing, like, oh, that's why that's that way, is always fun. And I've mentioned that in previous streams, in that you're sort of seeing it ground up, as opposed to from both ends. Um, Things important are not answered. Huh. So I'll get back to that. But I appreciate the question. It's fun. I love the game. I think it's always important. This certainly was a big lesson learned with APB, to understand fundamentally the design in the game before you start making changes. And that's been my goal. Is I don't want to come in with a hammer looking for nails and make it into something it's not. I'd rather.
Oh no, I lost Matt again.
Do that version
Oh,
of the game first. Um, Hiccups.
yeah, you keep cutting in and out. You're back now. You're back.
All right. Well, I think we're winding down. But again, so I know that this has come up a little bit with some question about resolution. Um, we're not working on the front end. We're just working on the back end right now, so we'll get there. Let's see, anti-cheat. Definitely want to put an anti-cheat into the game. Want to answer that unequivocally. Just we're putting anti-cheat in, 100%. Just need to wait for the new version. Someone asked about an effort to get in touch with the devs. There was an effort early on, and for the first couple of years, actually, to get in touch with the devs, and so they were gracious and great. Actually, I liked working with them. They turned over a lot of information that we didn't get in the initial handoff, so there wouldn't be a Fallen Earth Classic, frankly, but for some of the extra stuff that they gave us to help us reload that. And so I appreciate their involvement. We may at some point maybe put the bat signal up and see if some of the original devs or designers want to come back and work on, once we're at that stage. Let's see here. We talked about a lot of these here. Let's see. Old player data, NFTs. We're not doing NFTs. Changes to character creation. Yeah, I mean, I think when we get into the front end, we're going to remaster a lot of assets, thousands and thousands. So that'll be the time to redo that. How many people are in the project? It's changing right now. We've had 7 different people on the project, but we're transitioning now from kind of this back end project into the database piece of it, and then the front end. But it was about for 6 months so far. Remastering. So someone, JP from Steam, had asked about are we focusing on a remaster or a sequel? And it's a remaster. So we're really aiming for 1-to-1. This same person actually asked about the soundtrack to the game, which I love. If you guys have not seen it or heard of it, it's on Amazon. It's on a bunch of different sources. I think it's even on Spotify. It's quite good. It's got to be up there on my list of soundtracks for games. Although, having said that, I'm a fan of Sakamoto and a bunch of other composers that do work for games, but I was just blown away by how good it was. I had to discover it for myself. We've made several attempts to reach out and get the files for that. Obviously, we own the IP, but all we have is what's online. We've tried to reach Amazon. We've tried to reach multiple publishers to see who controls that and how do we get in touch with them. But so far, no dice. No one's gotten back to us. So, but the work there is really good. I highly recommend. Let's see. Someone asked, actually, will Classic be available after the sequel or revamp is launched? The answer is probably no. I'd love to move everybody. We jumped through a lot of hoops. I mentioned this earlier in the stream. We jumped through a lot of hoops to keep Classic online. So we probably want to get that offline as soon as we can replace it, with something that runs a lot better. And I guess I should qualify that, because I'm speaking in terms of services. Really, Fallen Earth Classic comes down to a database that has all the progress for the people that have been playing. But I think I want to get us to kind of the permanent solution here as soon as possible. All right, and then our MVP, Zymonicus on Steam, had multi-part question, 21 questions, many of them multi-part, some of them quite a number of parts here. So the stream just would not be complete if I didn't get into some of them. And a lot of these, I admit, this player jumped.
Oh no. Guys. Oh.
Um, uh, uh, yeah, no,
I think you're good. I
almost.
think you're good. You're good. You're good. Okay, go.
I'm trying to pay attention, and that way I can stop talking and not just plow through it.
Someone
Um,
reboot Matt.
but yeah,
You're good. I think he's stable now.
the goal is to keep all the factions. By the way, many people asked about that. Are we losing factions or getting rid of? I just don't feel like, I don't know. I feel like we want to make them all worthwhile. We want to make them all relevant. Um, we talked about maybe cutting it down at one point, but I just feel like it just wouldn't be falling earth if we dropped some of the factions. I'm a big fan of lore. That certainly. So we absolutely plan on expanding on the lore and the missions, or the quest system, and the gear. Absolutely. I don't know if we're going to raise the max from 55 yet. I mean, I think at some point we'll have to, but certainly it's not an immediate focus, because I would rather just do a better job of making that game experience up to 50. Um, uh, More fun. So that's been the focus. Good question though. Old armor wardrobe. Yep, we're keeping it. So the items that are there, I plan on keeping, unless there's a real good reason to take them out. But generally speaking, we're going for 1-to-1. So trying to bring that stuff um, over. I'd have to go look. I have not come across it. They asked about a custom weapon building system. I think that did not make its way out of design. If it was um, implemented, because I haven't seen anything in the code, so support for it um, not there. So I would say that's probably um, not there. Someone asked in chat, actually, it's a good question. For the public test server, it is a separate install. So generally, you have kind of the production install, the live install that's on Steam or however you play on Gamers First, and there'll be a second one that we use for PTS. So it's just a different launcher to keep it separate. Um, all right. Continue adding sectors. Yeah, I think the goal is to go back through the first four sectors and kind of have some fun there. I talked about this earlier in stream, but go through, freshen up some of the dialogue and the quests, make sure there's some consistency there. I think there are parts of the game that suffer because they were different writers, and I feel like Sector Four is not quite as full as I would like it to be. I think it's useful for the kind of game modes they put in there, but I don't really consider Sector 4 finished. So rather, before jumping into a Theta sector or a Sector 5, I'd want to go through and make sure we go through each sector and make sure it's got the juice, what we want happening in that sector, and it feels good. Um, let's see. So stealth mechanics, is a lot of questions, or a couple questions on stealth, and a bunch of questions about vehicle driving. Uh, I don't know are the answers, honestly. I think the answer is probably that Fallen Earth is an old game, so there's a lot of this stuff that could be improved. Absolutely. The question is just where, how far down the rabbit hole will we go? So I think if anything, it'll happen in stages. I think uh, we'll go to a certain level. Kind of what I want to do is bring the base of the game up, so the general game experience is as good as it can be, and then we'll dive into a lot of these areas that this particular player brought up. I think just to kind of make sure that they're useful or they're fun or they're relevant, really. Um, all right, vehicles. Vehicles are a whole can of worms. I don't particularly think vehicles are implemented very well, which is a shame because we have a whole game full of vehicles like APB. I think that we probably need to take some time. The core challenge, I'll say this: anytime you have vehicles in an MMO, you're asking for a big challenge, because you've got an object moving at a reasonably fast pace that's got to be server synced so that you know where it is on the server and in the client, and that's always a challenge, because you end up desyncing or you end up with issues. So I don't know. I mean, maybe someone can point one out, but I'm not sure there is an MMO with good vehicle handling. And so um, it's a great question, and there are some things we can do. One of the things I looked at actually already was an upgraded physics system and some other things that we should probably look at. But that part of an MMO is very, very difficult to get right, because you end up with stuff that feels very slushy because you're having to sync with the server so often. So, vehicles just don't feel very good. Um, all right. Uh, I think there are some things in here that probably won't have, like the vehicles killing people, killing mobs by running over them. Um, I think there's just too much abuse that could happen with some of that. So I don't think we'll implement that. Not in an MMORPG. There's reasons why APB the vehicles do damage a certain way, but in an MMORPG you have to be careful about some of the ways you can do damage in the game. Um, so let's see. I'm gonna catch back up here. A decent vehicle, very different. Yeah. Scum. Yeah, it's a good example. I feel like there's a difference between player mounts and vehicles. Like, I think riding a horse way easier to get right in an MMO, but driving a car, just the way it handles, very difficult to get right. Just the horses don't have vehicle physics, I guess, is the biggest thing. They can sort of be treated like a mount, which is again very much easier to get right. Um, all right, lot of questions on vehicles. So I've kind of said a lot there. We'll move on. Voice chat. Um, Voice chat is definitely something we want to look at and kind of get back. Obviously, um, it's supported in the code. It's long gone. There's issues with it. So, but I think it's a kind of an important part, both for APB. It's something we're working on putting back in APB and with. So, uh, let's see. Social sector. I see a lot of overlap with many of the topics between APB and Fallen Earth from this particular player. So um, we'll we'll see. I'm gonna group, I think, some of the rest of them to see. A lot of this is design, so numbers of slots and weight and inventory questions, things like that. So I'm gonna let designers weigh in on that. I love the mini games and bunker bars. I definitely want to bring that back. So there are two things that I really felt were pretty fun. One was the mini games, and I don't know. Frankly, I didn't even know if this ever even launched. But the pop up camps, um, where if you were in an area for so long, there was some dynamic stuff that happened that, man, I would love to get that working correctly, and kind of have these encampment designs and things just really great. So there's some things there that I definitely want to I would like to see get working, mainly because I think those kind of systems validate a lot of the empty space that is in Fallen Earth in the map. And so it's important, I think, for players to be able to do something with those spaces, um, as opposed to just having these big kind of empty spaces for the sake of making them empty. So um, yeah, the blackjack, the I think there was like a casino-y kind of thing that got turned off. Um, all right, we're 10 minutes away. I think I wanted to go about an hour and a half. I think we've made it there. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. I had the document full of questions there, but if there's anything I missed, I'll kind of keep an eye on here. Thank you everybody for coming out. I know, like I said, we'd like to do more of these. My goal right now is to make my way through all four of our major titles: APB, SDFU, Fallen Earth, and Unsung Story before the end of the year. I don't know if I'm going to get there. These take a little bit to put together, but you guys waited a very, very long time for an update, and so we'll try to do more of these more often, just to kind of get stuff in front of you. And I'm really excited about getting the new public test server up so you guys can kind of play with some of what we've been working on. Expect bugs, so I'm just going to throw that out there. This code base is way too big to not have bugs littered through, and so we're going to try to. We've got a great set of QA ready to jump in as soon as we're ready, but as soon as QA finishes and they've gone through the game a couple different passes there, then we'll get that up for you guys to kind of play with on a limited basis. Yeah, yeah. There better be an in-game a bug reporting system. Um, I yeah, we'll work on that. Let's see. Anything else here? I'm gonna just scroll back. I'm sure I missed uh, some of these. Right now, someone said, please don't relaunch some classic version of the game with cool graphics. We did the exact opposite of that. We actually dove into the back end and did not do anything with the graphics at all. Um, so we're more excited about what we can do with something that works well. Love there a lot of the music, a lot of the sound of Fallen Earth. Actually, I think they did a really good job on the sound design. Someone commented on the ambient strings, and um, there's a lot of good stuff just buried in those files. We at one point, I'll give a special nod. There is an old school player who also happens to be a sound engineer who was able to give us usable sound assets. The game encrypts them, so the files that you get are not usable, unfortunately. So we would have had nothing but for a particular player who took the time to give us all of the sound assets there. Um, Commander, yeah, that's up in the marketplace. So we'll have to. I'm definitely we're getting closer there. I appreciate everybody asking about how to support us. Um, I would say one thing that didn't come up. We had the video up there. We were playing the Run Around Bone Claw video, and I actually think one of the biggest improvements we could make on the front end. We're not quite there yet, but it's animation. Frankly, I think the animations at the time were very choppy. Most of this stuff, they were borrowing from, like newer versions, but Doom and Quake animation systems, and so I definitely think, generally speaking, getting the animations revamped would make the game feel so much better. There are a lot of them, I should say, like a ton of them. So at some point, I'll post. I meant to have more stats ready. That was one of the things I ran out of time on, but I wanted to have, here's the number of these, here's the number of these, here's the number of these. Um, they're pretty. I think I might actually. Let's just see if I have um, something here. I might actually have one. Maybe. Aha. Let's see if I have some. But I just don't think people quite realize how big the game is. Um, it's 7,000 square kilometers. That's an easy one. 16 different ecosystems in the game. Someone said, "Oh, we were running along," and they were like, "Oh, the plants don't look so great." Yeah, just realize that we haven't spent any time on art, but the ecosystems are incredibly diverse. It can be trees and shrubbery and ground coverings and weather and skyboxes and all kinds of crazy stuff. So and it's pretty open ended. The ability of designers to be able to do things with the ecosystem editor is really quite cool. Currently, there are 16 different ecosystems in the game. There's over 10,000 items to collect, over 150,000 objects placed in the world. And it looks like about 75,000 lines of dialogue spread across 9,000 quests. Um, in addition to that, if that's not enough, there are 2,800 skills and mutations, and about 5,700 icons that represent items and skills in the game that you can work with. So 5,700 icons that show up in the UI. 29 different harvesting nodes, 4,000 plus different unique recipes for items to craft, 560 different unique buildings, all that have interiors, physics or collisions, things like that. 280 plus city building block objects, things like streets and fences, things like that. Um, 1,120 exterior decorations or furniture, things that kind of decorate the buildings, and then 580 plus interior decorations. 410 item models, 3D models in the game for items, two rigged human models, males and females, 25 heads each, and 1,300 plus animations each. So when we talk about rework on animations, it's quite a bit. Um, it's 1,350 plus. 270 plus creatures with over 1,400 animations spread across those creatures, 680 plus female accessories alone. Uh, there are 10,000 audio files, 72 dungeons or self contained levels, 12 unique vehicles or mounts, 370 plus weapons and variations, and the 20 original music tracks from the Fallen Earth soundtrack. So, just some random stats that I wanted to throw out there just to give an idea of scale because it's a big undertaking. Let's see. I think that's it. So so I appreciate you guys putting up with that. Um, we will announce another one of these. I think probably when we're ready to do the public test, which I'm hoping won't be too long. And I just want to thank everybody again. Have a happy holiday. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us, asking great questions, and we'll touch base soon. So stay tuned. We'll be posting on the usual channels, the team forum, our forum, obviously. And if you haven't joined Discord, we should probably get the Discord link. Maybe Emily can throw that into chat, and so people who want to catch up with us and ask questions, we are on Discord quite a bit. Tim is on Discord as well, quite a bit. Um, Although I think you're on the SDFU Discord a bit more. That's
Yeah,
the
I'm on both.
primary game that Tim is in charge of. So there's the Discord link if you guys want to come join us. Um, we did not have a giveaway planned. Shame on us. That's a great idea. I should have planned one, but this was thrown together. We just wanted to get back in front of you guys and give you an update here. So next time I'll put that one away for next time. But thanks everybody.
Thank you.